Ready? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, good morning.
What's up? Good morning.
Morning.
There you are. All right. Let's start today's class with a little worksheet. Yeah, over here. A little worksheet of what we saw yesterday. Okay? We have this exercise that I want to cover. It has some completions. Sorry. Let's start with these ideas. All right. So let's bring it on, and we have perfect modals. There we have. There are these. I think there are 11 different ideas, and you have to complete each of them, right? The sentences are incomplete. You need to find the most suitable way to rephrase the sentence and to complete the sentence. In the first case is say the same idea but using perfect modals, right? And in the second exercise is to complete the sentence. So you need to give it a context, you need to give it a full story, you need to understand the full story in order to select the right word. Okay? Let's start with the first one. The first one is the most difficult one. It says over here, it would have been a good idea to take your umbrella. It would have been a good idea to take an umbrella. Question, did this person take the umbrella?
No.
Good. That was easy. So then you need to find a way to speak about the regret of not taking the umbrella. How would you do that? Tell me, Connie.
You should have taken your umbrella.
That sounds pretty good. Excellent. You should have taken your umbrella. Let's write that down. You should have taken. Sounds great. Okay, I like it. This is the logic of the exercise. So, first, read sentence number, well, the first sentence, and then rephrase it. Okay? Try with number 2. Fer.
And the hotel was as comfortable as possible. The hotel could not have been more comfortable.
Kinda. What Okay, you chose the right modal, but why negative? What's the meaning of the negative in this case?
Because in the first sentence, they are saying that the hotel was comfortable enough.
Okay, probably there is some missing information there. The word as possible or as comfortable as possible means that the hotel did its best effort.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that it's comfortable enough. You know? It's like,
Okay.
oh, he tried, the hotel tried to be comfortable, but that was only the intention.
Okay, so it would be the hotel could have been more comfortable.
Exactly. The hotel could have been. Pronunciation, how do you, well, in English it's more common to use contractions. What is a contraction for could have?
Could have.
Pronunciation.
So the hotel could have been more comfortable.
Much better. Much better. Excellent. Could have been. Very nice. This is a very interesting one. As comfortable as possible. How can I like? Did you get why it's not similar to comfortable enough?
Yes.
Right? In the case of being enough, it would be like the hotel. Uh, it would have been to eliminate as possible. You know, the hotel was as comfortable as I don't know, a 5-star hotel, for example. That will be different.
Okay.
Got it. Very good. Anyone questions? Excellent. So let's go to Itse, number 3. Action.
It's possible that John is out. John might
Sounds good.
might have been out.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Now, the the pronunciation of the modal verb, I mean, you are saying this.
Maybe. Okay.
Exactly. What is the pronunciation again?
May have been.
May have been. Very good. That sounds much better. Now, just a minute. Are we making deductions about the present or the past in sentence number 3?
Present?
It's present. May have and might have
Yes. It's
are past.
okay.
Which one do we use to speak about present? Kind of present. May have been. Might have been. No, but the other is past too. Now, I'm gonna give you the point, but let me check the answer. May have been. John may have been. Yeah, you are right. May or might. Because must have, I was thinking in must have been out. But what will be the difference?
Well, in my head is because in the first sentence on the sentence is possible, and must is something that you are sure that is happening, no?
Exactly. There's a level, there's a higher level of certainty.
Yeah.
No? No, you are completely right. I like it. Very good. Complete idea.
John may have been out.
Perfect. Sounds great. Remember, guys, that may in this context is similar to might.
Right.
Got it? Both of them are right. Great. Let's go to number 4. Sophie.
You're quite wrong to eat so much chocolate. What is the? Can you remember what is the meaning of quite?
Yeah, of course. These are one of the 6 adverbs. Adverbs for emphasis. You are really wrong. You are quite wrong. You are, similar to really.
You must have not eaten so much chocolate.
Again, you what?
You must have not
You must have not.
eaten so
Eaten
much chocolate.
so much chocolate. Well, we have the verb eat here.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean. And another is that must have is to speak about something you are sure about. So that one is not the case.
And I can use the verb eat, right?
And you have to use the verb eat, exactly. So we to be quite wrong. I get it. Okay, I get it. There is this particular one, the number 4 is a little bit complicated. Yeah. The reason of that is there is a modal verb that we didn't see yesterday. Okay, so let's more than that. Kinda, similar to should. Look at this. When do we use O2? Are you familiar with the word O2, guys? No. Oh, okay. No. I'm going to include it to the list. Definitely. Very similar to should have, we have the word O2. Okay? ought to is similar to should, but it is much less frequent. Okay? Like should, the verb ought to does not have a past form. Right? Well, this is a modal verb. No modal verbs have past. It is only used with reference to the present and the future. Ought to is rarely used in questions and negatives. When it is, it is confined mainly to formal styles. In negatives, not comes between ought and to. So, positive ought to, negative ought not to. Okay? In questions, the subject comes between ought and to. For example, I ought not to have said those things to her. It's similar to say, I should have not said those things to her. I should have. I ought not to. Do you understand this? No.
What's the difference between ought to and should?
No. It's similar. There's no difference.
Okay.
It's less frequent, but
Okay.
it's similar.
So I can say that they are synonyms.
Exactly. Precisely. What it's a little bit tricky with ought to is the structure, because you have the connector to. This means that it's going to be confusing where to collocate the person, the negative, or the auxiliary have, for example. Right? Well,
That's
look at
why.
the.
Sorry, that's why the next verb is in simple present, right?
Exactly. Well, simple form, not
Yes.
present. But
Simple
yeah,
form.
we have the verb make, for example, in simple form because you have the connector to. That's why we don't use eaten in the exercise.
But in the previous example, the verb is in past participle because you have the have.
Exactly. In the previous example, it's have said. So
Okay.
these two convey different times. The first one convey things that you regret in the past, and this one expresses recommendation in present.
Okay.
You ought to listen, we ought to leave, Lucy ought to go. Look at these examples. I ought to have spoken up. You ought to have offered. Have offered, have spoken, and have told. You see, both exist in simple form, ought to, and in perfect modal, ought to have.
Okay. Okay. So in the exercise, I don't have to use have. It's
Right.
just you ought to eat. You ought to not.
Nice. Where do you collocate the negative?
You ought to. No, it's ought not to
Exactly. Very good.
eat so much chocolate.
Correct. You ought not to eat so much chocolate. Very good, girl. Excellent position of the negative. So, when should we use ought? I suggest you use ought when you are talking about a formal conversation. Okay, if you're talking about a meeting, if you're talking with your boss, if you're writing a formal letter, a formal email, this is when you should use ought instead of should. Should is more like casual and common than ought to. Doesn't mean that ought to doesn't exist. Formal settings. Got it? Any question with ought to? No? Easy peasy? We almost forget this one yesterday, thanks to the exercise to bring it up. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Number 5, go. Connie.
Ensure this isn't the road to Canterbury. We we let me check my notes. We can have been sure on the road to Canterbury.
Close, eliminate sure. If you say can't, then we have it.
Yes, we can have on the road to Canterbury.
And the verb can't have what?
Can have been
Excellent.
on the road to Canterbury.
That sounds much better. You are correct. We can't have been on the road to Canterbury. Why? Because you're sure. You aren't sure, you are not at the road. That's why we are using can't. Excellent. Questions about exercise number 1? Easy? Difficult?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, let's pass to the next. In the next exercise, you need to complete the sentence. Okay? It says number 1, but I only lent you the book this morning. What is lent? Give me a synonym.
I think borrow or something like that.
Well, borrow is the contrary, the opposite. You know, because when I borrow and I lend,
Okay.
you see? So borrow is similar to
Take.
excellent, and lend is similar to
Give.
that's it. So, but I only lent you or gave you this book this morning. This is the context that you have to answer. Then you have you finish it already. You finish it already. Already is a type of expression that is helping us. So help me. It's number 1, sorry.
But I only let you the book this morning. You can? No. you can't. No, you couldn't have finished it already.
Nice. You're almost there. Almost there. Couldn't is about something that you think didn't happen. No, well done. You think, or you are not sure how, but it happened. Good. But if you give somebody a book today, then we are not talking about possibilities, we're talking about impossibilities. Something that is totally impossible. There is another one. Another
Must?
one there. Must. But that's because you are sure. Not because it's impossible.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't.
Mhm.
Now, wouldn't is for something that you wanted a different result. You need to check your notes.
Mm. Oh my. Oh, perdón.
Remember, this is not imaginary. This is something that has to be done.
Can't?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you know
At
why?
first I say yes, because it's something that is not logical.
Exactly, it's something that is not logical. That's right.
At the first I say can. I always say
Exactly. You said can't and then you changed it to could.
yes.
Exactly. Complete
You
idea.
can have finished it already.
Mm-hmm.
Finish it already.
Exactly. You can't have finished it already, which is impossible. Impossible it has happened. Very good. There you have it. I like it. Let's go to the next one. Number 2. Fail.
I don't know who phone, but I suppose it might have been Sophia.
Now be careful. Something happened to you similar to it's. You're pronouncing May.
May.
May, exactly. One more time.
I don't know who phone, but I suppose it may have been Sophia.
Exactly. Very good. It's very tricky, no? The pronunciation of May. For some reason, we always say May. I don't know why. Be careful on that one. The next one, Sophie.
His train well, space and hers have never been to London. Mm, French.
Okay, this is an idiomatic expression. You always catch the difficult ones.
What is the well in the sentence strange is it refers a person to a person or not?
No, it's more like it's the literal meaning. It's the description,
Okay.
similar to weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And yes, you have the word sim.
Strange. Okay. Strange. No, because I need a person, but I
Yes.
don't understand if I have to use Harry. Harry Strange. Harry.
Well,
Mm,
is Harry strange?
no.
Exactly. So that's not your person. What is strange here is a situation. If you say Harry has never been to London, let's imagine that London is super near.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
imagine that in your same city you have a place that you have never been and everybody is surprised. You have never been to that place? Wow,
Okay.
that's a context.
Okay. Okay. He, French. He.
Well, again, you are saying that Harry is strange, but he's not strange. It's a situation.
So
What
it's
person do we use to speak about situations, weather, time?
what person is
There is a grammatical person we use to talk about time, situations, weather.
it.
That's it.
Um. French. It. I don't know what is the modal. Um.
Well, you need to understand the verb sim. What is sim?
Mm,
That's the one, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Ah, that's the one. Okay, let's go through sim.
Okay.
Okay. Mm, mhm. This one.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat it because I can hear you for a moment?
Yeah, you were frozen. Read
Yeah.
the meaning.
Okay. To give the impression of being or doing something. Okay. Yeah.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot use it. For example, this verb sim is used to refer you are watching something or you have the impression of something else. So you say, this seems interesting. This seems uh, strange, right? Or, yeah, the situation seems like this and like that.
Okay.
It's because the situation is giving you the impression to be like that. If Harry has not been to London, this is strange for you.
Okay.
How would you do that?
Strange, but thinking. What is the past participle of sim?
The past participle of seem, good question. Regular verb. How would you find the
Okay.
regular verb?
Sim.
Excellent.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's strange. It's strange. It. Mm, must, because you are strange. Strange. It must have not seemed.
It must have not
Must.
seemed. Okay, must is used when you are sure about something that happened. But we are not talking about anything that happened. It's more about how the things seem. Nothing happens before.
Okay. Would.
Would. Would is used when something happened, but you wanted a different result. So that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. For me, anyone have not seen. uh,
Yeah, it's one. There's one because it's possible for you. It's possible you will get surprised that Harry has never been to London. If London is super near, then it's you may be surprised when I tell you that he hasn't been to London.
might.
Exactly.
Might. So it's strange. It might have not. Mm, think.
Nice. Okay, now you have the same issue as Fed. Why negative? Does it seem or it doesn't seem? Does it seem surprising, strange, or it doesn't seem strange?
It does it.
Wait, did you say
Impossible.
does it?
Yeah.
So eliminate does it. Because doesn't is
It's
negative, so I got confused. It's
um.
positive.
It's positive. Yeah. The sentence is in positive.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you need to omit the not. Because it is surprising. It is strange.
Okay. So it's strange. Strange. It might have seemed.
Very good. You are correct. Now, yes, it's possible, may and might, right? But as a common expression, the most common is may. Okay? I gave you the points because of the context. May have seen. Let me see if we find this expression in the dictionary. If I check strange, may. So to the phrases feel strange from strange. Nah, because it's not going to be the phrases. Nah, it's too much information for the dictionary. But yeah, the most common one is may. Because of the context, you thought of might. That's not wrong. But then you will need to expose yourself to the language to check that the most common in this particular formula, strange it may seem, is the auxiliary may, not might. Okay? That's very, very English. Why do we start the sentence with the adjective? because that's a way to speak. People say, surprisingly, Harry has never been to London. Surprisingly is another way to say, strange it may have seemed. Right? And it looks pretty good. Actually, it looks very, very casual, very well spoken, etc. People also say, strange it may seem in present. It may seem. Strange it may seem, Harry has never been to London. That's another way to say it. One is in past, the other is in present. Got it? Difficult? Cool.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
It will be correct if we, instead of may, we use can't, because I was thinking that it is can have seem, because it's not logical if Harry has never been to London.
Exactly. But it's not logical when you use can't, you are giving the impossibility to the verb. So if you say, Harry has never been to London, he can't have visited the Big Ben. Visited is a verb that I am giving the negative to.
Okay.
But here we are talking about the verb seem. We cannot negate the verb seem because everybody has the impression this is strange.
Okay.
Right? So you cannot negate the impression of other people.
Okay.
You see what I mean? It's the meaning of the verb. That's why I told Sophie, check the meaning of seem, because you cannot negate what seems.
Okay.
That's the one. Number 3 was a difficult one, to be honest. And I am impressed you don't have more questions, guys. Do you have another question about it?
Well, it is like an idiom, right? This or not?
Kinda. That's why I thought it was going to appear in the dictionary, but no. No, it's just another formulation, another construction of the sentence. Because look, you can write it like this. Strange it may have seemed, comma, and then the second part. Right? But you can also write, it may have seemed strange, but Harry hasn't been to London. So you are more familiar with this one. That doesn't mean the first one is incorrect. So this is precisely the ability of B2, having the ability to paraphrase this idea and understand it this way. Right? Why this is not an idiom? This is not an idiom because it has the same words. It's only positioned in a different way. But there is no other meaning, there is no other definition for the word. It's a natural definition of everything.
Okay.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
Now it makes sense. Take a note of this accumulation because this phrase is very common, and let's go to number 4. Number 4, go. Fer. Oh no, wait. You did number 2, no? So let's go with itse.
I told you we will miss the train. Sorry. We we must have left earlier.
Okay. Incorrect.
Oh.
The thing here is that you're talking about must have. Something that you are pretty sure happened.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be pretty sure about the verb leave. Again, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We should have. Yes.
Exactly. That's much better.
We should have left earlier.
Exactly. Pronunciation, what is a contraction for should have?
Shouldn't have. No.
Shouldn't is negative.
Should. Should. No, I don't know.
Try to.
I can't. Should have. No. Should have.
Excellent. Yes, you are correct.
We should have left earlier.
Exactly. We should have left earlier. That's the most common way to speak. Very good. Right? This one was easy. Let's go to number 5. Connie.
It rained every day on my holiday in France. So I need space the suntan lotion after all. Suntan is the lotion to avoid damage with sun.
Exactly. The FPS
Okay,
for your
then
skin.
it can be, so I must have not needed the suntan lotion.
Almost. Similar to what happened to it. The word must is used for things that you're pretty sure. But here is like completely like 100% sure.
100% sure. We might.
We might. That is less sure than must.
I lost my notes about the percent. let me look for
Yeah, excellent. But you know exactly what is the note that we need to check. It's about the levels of certainty. It's right here.
Okay. Tennis in past.
Exactly. When you use simple past, it's 100%. It happened.
Okay.
If you are not that certain, we use must have. We are pretty certain, but this is not completely. And before must, we use might or may.
Okay.
So
Then
which one is it?
it rained every day on my holiday, so I don't need.
Uh-oh, that's not past.
So I didn't need
Exactly. I didn't need.
the suntan lotion after.
That is correct. Very good. So you may say, hey, why didn't, teacher, if we are talking about modal, perfect modals? Well, perfect modals happen in past. So your ability as a B1 speaker, as a B2 speaker, sorry, is to alternate between pasts. Auxiliary did, have, had, and perfect modals. Okay, great job. Let's pause for a moment. We have Jessie in the chat. Jessie will pass attendance. Hi, Jessie. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, girl.
Hi. So please help me to take attendance, please.
Yes.
Connie?
Here, good morning.
Good morning, Connie. Thank you. Itze?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Itze. Thank you. Jesus?
Absent.
All right. Luis Alejandro?
Yes, he's here. Or he's
Thank you.
sick.
Hi, Ale. Good morning. Per?
Here, good morning, yes.
Good morning, Per. Thank you. And Sophie.
Morning, Jessie.
Good morning, Sophie. Thank you. So that's all?
That's all.
And thank you. Good day.
You too.
Bye.
Perfect. The last one. Go. Go, Fer.
Well, I thought the food was awful. Well, I thought the food was awful. Eat the same restaurant you went to. Well, I thought the food was awful. It can have been the same restaurant you went to.
So you are negating the possibility, right? Why?
Mhm.
Why are you negating the possibility?
Because I'm understanding that he went to a restaurant where the person thought that the food will be bad because someone tell that the food is bad in that restaurant.
But
Or
that's precisely the reason why you shouldn't negate. Because if the person, the other friend went to the restaurant before, and then this friend told you about the food, and then you
okay,
went, you know what I mean?
yeah, I understand. So well, I thought the food was awful. It must have been the same restaurant you went to.
Precisely. Yeah, so you had the right reasons, but the wrong answer.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. That was very good. It must have been the same restaurant you told me you went. Because then when I went, the food was awful, like when you went to the restaurant. That's the way we do it. So in application, it's a different thing. I know what you are experiencing, guys. Very good. Let's put this into practice, okay? Now that we are getting the idea of the relation of the modal verb with the verb and the meaning, we need to be completely aware of how these modal verbs work. Okay, it's very different when we use the must have, would have, could have, etc. with a linking verb. What is a linking verb? May, seem, be, get, etc. versus an action verb. The most confusing one was here, with the verb seem, for example. Why? Because seem is not an actual verb. Seem is a linking verb. A linking verb is a verb that we use to connect descriptions. Right? So it was a little bit complicated when we used a linking verb, because when we used action verbs like finish, leave, or need, for example, it was much more easier, no, than number 3. So whenever you are talking about perfect modals, make sure it has a real connection with the verb that you are using, and if it's necessary or not. Okay? Right now, I want you to have a conversation in which you are going to practice this particular usage. Conversation about the coffee video that we were watching the other day. You know that this particular video talks about crisis, right? How would the coffee crisis in Colombia have been prevented, in your opinion? I repeat, how would the coffee crisis in Colombia have been prevented, in your opinion? Elaborate your answer, take some notes, let's watch the video again, and let's get familiar to it. Okay? Let's go.
This is one of the most popular plants in the world. It takes about 3 to 4 years to grow before producing berries, which are picked, washed, pulped, dried, and roasted to make coffee. The world consumes about 500 billion cups of it every year, and it's grown by millions of farmers across Latin America, Africa, and Asia. But there's a crisis on the horizon. This is the only area where the coffee plant can grow, and as man-made climate change warms the planet, it's shrinking. Here in Colombia, one of the biggest coffee producers in the world, the impact of that crisis can already be felt.
Unos 15 años. La producción bajó enormemente. El año pasado fue una producción súper bajita. Yo quedé así aterrada.
Y ese cambio del clima ha determinado, pues, y todos estos factores, que la caficultura se viene a menos. Esa cultura del cafetero va a ser un recuerdo.
There are over 100 species of the coffee plant. The vast majority occur in the wild, while a few are cultivated on a farm. 2 of which are by far the most common. Robusta coffee has a bitter taste and is used to make espresso and most instant coffee. Arabica coffee is the good stuff. It has a smooth and mild taste and is used for high-quality coffee. Both species require specific conditions to grow, but Arabica is particularly sensitive. The plant needs temperatures between 18 and 21 degrees Celsius. Too hot and the berries won't grow correctly. Too cold and they can freeze. It also needs a specific amount of rain, preferably with a 3-month dry season to flower. And crucially, it needs warm days and cool nights, so it grows best at a certain elevation. Altogether, that means Arabica grows best between these latitudes. And if you were to create a perfect place for it, it would look a lot like Colombia. Specifically the Zona Cafetera, Colombia's coffee region.
Toda la variedad de climas. Aquí tenemos aguas, tenemos fríos, tenemos calores por el sol.
The coffee farmers grow and process it all by hand here, which is why Colombian coffee has been considered the best in the world for over a century.
Lo amamos porque dentro de ello nacimos, con eso nos levantaron. Quizá a mí me hicieron debajo de un palo de café, yo no sé, tal vez.
Soy muy enamorada del café. He incursionado en el café tostado. Yo lo proceso, lo tuesto, lo vendo tostado. Eso es todo un arte. Se volvió un arte.
But the zona cafetera is also where climate change is already taking a toll. Greenhouse gas emissions have warmed the region by 1.2 degrees Celsius since 1980. That's enough to push the optimal elevation for coffee higher up the mountain, leaving the plants down here to overheat and produce lower quality beans. That's what's happened here on the Villa Gloria farm, which sits at a low elevation.
Hemos tenido unos calores y unos soles insoportables que no existían ahora años.
The warmer climate is also ideal for pests and fungi. Up the slope, some coffee plants at the Santa Fe farm are afflicted with a fungus called coffee rust.
Es un polvillo amarillo, es un honguito que se va secando la hojita y se caen todas, como ves aquí no hay ramas, no hay nada.
And here at the Oasis farm, changing weather patterns have made it hard to predict the life cycle of the coffee plant.
Entonces ha cambiado en que ya no reconocemos con absoluta seguridad, como se hacía antes, cuándo son las lluvias, cuándo son los plenos veranos, cuándo sí es la floración. Tenemos que estar pendientes de la floración cambió, y eso gracias a qué, al cambio climático.
Since 2013, the amount of land used to grow coffee in Colombia has fallen by more than 7%, and scientists expect things to get worse. The zona cafetera is projected to warm by 0.3 degrees per decade and see more extreme weather. In fact, coffee-growing regions everywhere are going to be affected. A recent study estimates that by 2050, the amount of land that can sustain coffee cultivation will be reduced by 50%. And it's not just cultivated coffee. Another study estimates that 60% of wild coffee species could be at the risk of extinction because of climate change. Some of these are used to breed more resistant varieties of Arabica, which makes them critical to sustaining coffee production. That's not only bad news for the plant, but also for those who have relied on the coffee industry for generations. In the early
Let's stop it over there. This is the part when they speak about the problem, the everything that has affected the coffee industry in Colombia. Talking about the coffee industry in Colombia is talking about global warming. So let's talk about past situations in which everything would have been different. What should have been done and what must have happened. Okay. Tell me your opinion. Who can start? Let's begin with Fer. How would the coffee crisis in Colombia have been prevented, in your opinion, Fer?
How would the coffee have been prevented? I think that the crisis is not and have been not prevented.
Okay, check your time. The crisis hasn't present.
been
Okay.
prevented
Okay, I like it.
because the plant and all the harvest, I think the word is,
Good, exactly.
are suffering, and all the people who works in the coffee harvest are losing. At the end, they are losing money. Right. Because the plant is suffering with fungus. It's dying. So I think that they haven't found a solution for that. I mean, because they can't stop it just themselves. They need like the whole world, or they need the government to help them.
Exactly. Okay.
Maybe if they can, if the government gives them resources. It's correct, the word resources, if I want to
Resources is
say.
right.
Yeah. See. Okay, so if the government gives them resources, maybe they can construct some kind of, I forgot the word in English, like invernadero.
Those are greenhouses.
Greenhouse. Yeah, maybe they can build a greenhouses that can help the plant, or maybe they can create some chemical that does not affect the plant, but it maintains it with alive.
Keep it. It's better to say keep it.
Keep it alive.
Okay, but you are giving me solutions for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to imagine a reality in which it could have been prevented. Prevented means, or could have been prevented means, what part of the origin of the problem could have been different. Talking about the origin of the problem, the past, not the future.
If we could control the climate change, if we could control the temperature to get higher and hotter.
That one. If we could. If we say if we could, I understand present. Are you speaking in present or in past?
No, in past.
So use precisely the modal verbs that we're studying. If we could.
If we could have.
Uh-huh.
If we could have. If we could have.
You use the verb control.
Controlled.
Exactly.
The temperatures.
Right.
What else? I think that's the main problem.
Okay.
In the past, and
Tell me.
I mean now.
Tell me more about that.
So how would the coffee crisis in Colombia have been prevented? I think that they have been prevented, and in an imaginary situation, I think that the things Colombia or the government or the people who works with the coffee plant could have done, it's maybe
was in past. Not is.
Okay. So the people, how can I say campesinos? I forgot the word.
You can say it as people, field workers.
Field workers?
Field worker.
Okay. So maybe the field workers or the government could have done something about build the greenhouses, or
something about build. Build your sentences again. Something about build. When you have the connector build, no, the connector about, sorry. Every time you use a verb after a connector, use it in ing form.
Building?
Building? That's right.
Okay.
One more time. The
Okay, so they could have done something about building the greenhouses. Or give them more resources
or
gave them
parallel structure. If the first is building, ing, the next one
giving,
or giving, exactly,
or giving them more resources in order to found a solution.
Found. After connector 2, you need the verb in simple form.
Found
in order
a solution.
To no, found. Found is a different verb. Found is in past, in present.
Find. Find a solution. Yeah, I forgot.
Exactly.
Find a solution. What else they could have done? Mm, sometimes they also, well, the field workers, I think in many places. I'm sorry for the noise.
No, no problem. We don't hear any noise.
Okay. So I think that sometimes the workers they use some chemicals. So maybe that could have been a solution.
Nice, excellent. That could have been a solution.
Use some chemicals. Maybe they didn't use it because it's affect the plants.
Again, because what?
Because it affects
Much better.
the plants. Um, but I don't know.
An expert.
I'm not an expert on the subject. Yes.
Excellent. We are, and nobody here is. Don't worry. But it's definitely a good idea. It was interesting that you started saying in an imaginary situation. That is not necessary to say, because when you say would have been, could have been, should have been, automatically we're thinking in imaginary situations.
Okay.
You see? So that precisely is when you changed your speech from future to past. That was perfectly done. You see? Very good. Now, be careful with those structures that we use. That sometimes we try to eliminate the complexity of grammar and we come back to verbs in present, right? Because of a comfort, a comforting form of speech that we know. Try to use the complex ones. Slow down and use the new strategies. That's the way we can improve our presentation for the exam. Okay. But they're very good, very, very good opinions.
Thank you.
What about Connie? What do you think would have been a good idea? Do you agree with Fer? Tell me about it.
Yes, I think that the crisis could have been prevented if
How?
landowners were allowed to have higher altitude sites. And the most important part that we could have been reduced the pollution so that the planet would not get warmer.
Okay, wait. Could have been reduced the pollution. Person verb complement. The order of words made me confused. One more time.
If we could have been reduced,
eliminate been. That's not necessary.
We could have reduced
exactly. Yes.
pollution so that the planet would not be warmer.
Excellent.
But I think that at this point it's super complicated to do something to reduce the crisis, because if the planet gets warmer, they need to be higher more times. I don't think so that can be the solution.
Agreed.
But maybe the part that the cost of the prices of the coffee increase, it can be a good help for the landowners.
Sounds pretty good, actually. Sounds pretty good. I like it. Okay. Your solution is definitely a good one. Now, let's talk about the verb be. If you say could have been, what did you say? Control now. Could have been reduced, right? Versus could have reduced. The difference is massive. We're talking about passive voice versus a normal sentence, right?
Oh, got it.
So could have been reduced is like the opposite way. Pollution could have been reduced. By who? By us. You see?
Got it.
It's a very complex sentence because it's putting two topics together. Passive voice and the new modal verbs. But it's possible too. You see?
Okay.
And on the other side, the person is we. We could have reduced pollution, which is a normal active sentence.
Okay.
That was complex, but you did a very good job. What about Sophie? Do you agree with Fer? Do you agree with Connie? Do you disagree with any of them?
No, I agree with them. I could say that we can focus on specific actions that everybody could have done.
Excellent.
For example, I was thinking about the cloth bags. I don't know if it's the correct name. These bags that are recycled. They are selling in supermarket cloth bags.
Yeah,
or
the cloth bags. Yeah, they have a different. They have seen recently. They are fashion, and they have received a name. Do you remember? I have the name bags. I have it here in Instagram. Somebody called them. Oof, I don't even remember the no, I don't remember the user. Somebody called them beanie bags. Beanie.
I don't know.
Yeah, they have a particular name. Beanie bags. No, I forgot the name. Well, cloth bag. Let's call them cloth bag for the sake of the participation.
Okay. Probably all of us, we must have taken our cloth bag to the supermarket or wherever you want, and we could have avoided the use of plastic bags. So the trash in general, it could be it reduced.
Exactly. Now we need could be like passive voice. Could be reduced.
Could be reduced. And of course, this is something that helps to the climate change. Well, I mean, we can do it now, but if could we could have done before, and maybe the crisis of coffee and many plants, because it's not the only one.
Just a second. Did you say if or did you omit if? I got confused in that sentence.
I say if we.
If. So if you're using if to condition the past, then you need to eliminate could. What is the auxiliary for past before past? That's right. If we have and the verb
have reduced.
Excellent.
The verb is in simple for reduce. Yeah.
No, in past participle because have is always needing.
Okay. If we have reduced. I remember the idea. If we have reduced.
No, but it was not reduced. It was about the plastic bags.
We have. Well, but our if we had reduced the plastic in the package, because also I can say also that we could have bought in with local farmers, for example, and we avoid the plastic package.
Yes,
that
packages.
usually the vegetables and fruits have when we buy in the supermarket.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And well, we can also say that the transportation of all those vegetables and fruits to the supermarket is more. They need more transportation that if
Yes,
we buy with a local farmer. So
precisely.
this also is something that creates the pollution.
Are you sure it creates pollution?
No.
So we can use a modal verb.
Mm, okay, no.
What is the one levels of certainty?
We are no. We are not sure.
We are not sure. So what is the modal verb when you are not sure?
Might.
Exactly. So we might. Cars and transportations.
It might have created.
Exactly.
No, created
Yes.
more pollution.
More pollution. That sounds like English. You see? Wow, very good. Yes, you are speaking English, guys. Remember to slow down and analyze your structure. Am I speaking in past? What do I have? Why do I need to convey? What information I need to transmit correctly, etc. All right? Anyway, very good job. Great practice. I'm gonna pass you your vocabulary for tomorrow's practice. Tomorrow we are going to see the video and we're gonna answer some questions concerning the video's information. So obviously we need vocabulary for that. Okay? I am going to pass you the vocabulary as soon as I have it, so you can review it tonight with the video, listening to the audio and reading your vocabulary. Got it?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Do you have any question? Are you all right?
I'm right, thank you.
Awesome. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
See you guys.